So we're standing on the deck, and you can see our chickens are hanging out. The property is 44 acres. We planted that spiraling willow and that little maple. As we go down towards the tree line there, the property goes a little to the right, but then it follows the trees. It doesn't go to that next field. It only stays, that field there is not ours. But we follow the tree line and you go to the very top of the trees. So we have quite a bit of woods, and we've harvested lumber twice now out of there. The first lumber harvest paid for half of the land, which was kind of nice. Our neighbor's field, as you can see up there on the hill, he raises beef and makes hay as a family farm, not as a sole income. That field wraps up around the trees, and after you go to the very steep top of those tree lines, there's beautiful fields back there that our neighbor Jack owns, and pastures and hays back there. In the woods there is the Cherry Valley stream, Cherry Valley Creek I guess they would call it, and it's a protected stream that begins at Glimmerglass Lake in Cooperstown, and it's a beautiful setting back in the woods. My wife wanted fields, woods, and a stream, the stream being the most important, and I wanted good soil in the fields. So those were our two additions, and this soil was gravelly silt loam. The year we bought it, they had 4 cuttings of alfalfa off it. It's very, very nice soil. Over time we added 2 stall barns. There are 3 there. The third one we used for shavings and hay. We added a back to this barn that we use for sawdust right now, actually. And as you can see this way, we have 2 little sheep, which I'll introduce you to, and they're here strictly just because I like them. We like them, and they actually they're in that little stall there, and they can go out through a little hobbit door into the back there, and it's kind of cool back there, a little cooler than their stall, and they go out into a little pasture, as it is right now. That ring there was our riding ring. It was sand, now it's grass, and we built that to teach riding in. We had 2 mares and the resultant foals as thoroughbreds, and we sold the yearlings in Saratoga each year. We did that for a number of years. When I stopped doing that, we boarded horses for a thoroughbred owner for a while, and then eventually I stopped that. I built the farm for 2 mares with foals by their sides. That was kind of the idea. While we had the mares, and my wife actually, Patty, was doing therapeutic riding with 2 ponies. Little Will was one of them, and she taught typically developing children as well as therapeutic riding here, as well as doing her special education early childhood job. So we were both quite busy. And when we stopped doing the farm, after many, many years, I took the fencing down. The electro braid fencing had lived its life from UV rays. It wasn't quite good. I took that down, and then I pulled the post out, stacked them up, and then a farmer came, and he's raised corn here in this little field and rotated with alfalfa. And right now it's in an alfalfa rotation. When we decided to bring little Will home, the pony that Marnie was using for therapeutic, who Patty had used for therapeutic, as a retirement, we also retired Sylvester. So we took a corner of the field to start with, and we just been, since they're 2 older riding horses, we could just fence with basic electric. And the alfalfa seeding is not very old, so I didn't want to take that away from the farmer. So we'll probably add that as pasture next year, and add a second shed next year, so we'll have a large, 5-acre piece, and then a smaller piece. The riding ring actually works very well for us because it was sand, and we built it ourselves, footing and everything, and basically grass just blew in. After we stopped using it, grass just blew in and grew, so it's actually very well drained. So I can use it as an abuse area and keep the fields a little bit nicer as we go. But again, I don't envision having 2 horses here, more than 2 horses here. Sylvester is hanging out in his shed because he's a little wimpy with the flies, and Will is not, and he's just on the other side of the shed. What else can I tell you? I'm going to take you down below and show you just a little bit more.